Yeah, you're muted, Earl.
Yeah, muted now. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know what's going on. The intro just keeps want to play. But good evening and welcome to this edition of the Island Stats Football Show. I'm your host, Earl Baston. Joining me is Coach Keita and Garrett Punchy Dill. Season's greetings to both of you and to all our viewers. Let me just quickly run down the results from this weekend, midweek and this weekend. We'll start with the Premier Division matches. Yesterday it was a doubleheader. Yesterday was two Premier Division matches. In the first match of the day, it was Norfolk Rams defeating St. George's Colts 2-1 at the Wellington Oval. And then last night at BAA Field, the PAC Zebras edged Dendytown Hornets 2-1. Today, Young Man Social Club and Crossroads 2-2. That was at Police Field. And at the Wellington Oval, Hamilton Parish defeated the Paget Lions 3-2. In about a half hour, the match between Devonshire Cougars and the Somerset Trojans will get underway at the Devonshire Recreation Club. Then in the first division, on Wednesday night, Somerset Eagles edged Robin Hood 2-1. Then on Thursday night, Wolves defeated Vasco 4-0. And then today, Devonshire Colts defeated St. David's 6-2. And the Boulevard Blazers defeated Southampton Rangers 5-1. So quite a few upsets. According to our picks, there would have been quite a few upsets this week already. Let's see what happens this evening out at the Devonshire Recreation Club as the week will end tonight, heading into the December run for Christmas. So let's jump right into it. I mean, the first match yesterday in the Premier Division, Norfolk Rams done what they needed to do to remain top of the table, undefeated, coming from behind to edge St. George's Colts at the Wellington Oval 2-1. Coach, let's talk a little bit about North Village's run so far. They've done everything they've had to do game by game to get over the line.
Sorry. Yeah, when I heard the score, I was like, oh. And they said Jonte was back. I said, well, here they go. St. George's season will kickstart now, having his experience back in the St. George's team. But I think the mindset and the space that North Village is in right now is that they're never say die. So they're not going to have to concede in one goal and just lay down. I think they're going to keep fighting. And eventually, they broke it. They broke the deadlock and went ahead. And again, through, young Deion Swan and DeAndre Wainwright. So, the Village are getting goals from a few players. Those players are actually stepping up when it matters the most. And it has to be a good feeling for the coach, because at the end of the day, knowing that your team is going to keep fighting and keep playing, that is not over when we go down 1-0. It has to be a great feeling for Kenny, because St. George's, playing in St. George's, I think that we beat them in St. George's last year, but I think they took care of us pretty good at the park. So to be able to get over that hurdle, that first game against St. George's hurdle, actually the second one, I think we played them in the cup. Yeah, we played them in the cup. But in the league, I think that, that would have been a good feeling. And to have the first game of the weekend, that takes the pressure off. You can sit back and be like, well, it doesn't matter what anybody else does. So, they are doing exactly what they need to get over the line. Some people might think, just 2-1 over St. George's. But it's a St. George's team with a Jonte Smith back in it in St. George's. So that would have been, and a week where they wouldn't have had Coach Kenny all week to prepare him for a Saturday match, no less. I take my hat off to those players.
And Punchy, for you, let's talk a little bit about St. George's, because they seem to have started here now. They're mid-table. just got I believe it's 8 points. Let me just quickly check so I don't talk out of turn. Yeah, 8 points. They're 10 points behind leaders North Village Rams now after the game. So, what do you think St. George's need to do to turn their fortunes around?
Well, I think I watched the whole game yesterday, and even though they were up, they never looked like they in control of the game. They never looked, it's almost coming like a rivalry with Norfolk and St. George's. I watched them lose against Dendytown, and it was a very poor performance by them, 5-0. But against being at home, they showed a lot of character, but a lot of times they lack quality and they run out of ideas at a certain time. And I figured of course, Jonte was playing, but his contribution, he's playing a little bit deeper. He's not fit. He's not playing as an all-night striker. So I just figured that, St. George is going through a real good, again, with defensively down the middle, when you're missing people like the Signal brothers, which adds some steel to that center, the defensive part of it. But St. George's, the goalkeeping was really good. I got to praise him. I think there's a number 3 goalkeeper for the national team. Oh, he was outstanding. But St. George's is still, just saying that they're not doing well. They're going to have to start thinking about, okay, what are we going to get out of this season? What will be our second half of the season be like? There's still, with the other young players, there's some young players in positions that are not really showing seniority. They're not really, it's you can see parts of the game that they lack quality. I was looking at Andrew's son, Andrew Bascom's son, Durande, and what does he bring to the team? It's not as, it's funny. I didn't find him very effective yesterday. A person of that quality, the coaching staff's got to figure out where you're going to play this guy and how you're going to play with him. And I just thought that, then in the second half, they dropped him further back, which makes it easier for North Village, But St. George's, it's got to just, again, this going to be one of those hard seasons. What are they going to get out of the season is survival. I'm sure they're going to survive. I know they will. FA Cup coming, the Friendship Cup, maybe that'll be a bonus for them, But I still think, again, St. George's from last year to this year, it's funny how the part defensively, I don't find them very sound defensively. I really don't.
Yeah. Well, if you look at their season, they've given up 13 goals and only scored 9. That's not going to be, that's not going to help your position in where you are in the table. So they have to figure it out. Yeah,
they would have to figure that out, Earl. And the coaching staff has got to come up with a concept in terms of this is what they're going to do now. You're really good at home. Usually, they're really good at home. I think exception. When I look at when I kind of go back to the teams that they lose to when they're home, they're usually on top of teams when they're there. But there's still something missing from them. I can't. They just look like they're too easy to be beaten now. They got schoolgirls. They're too easy to be beaten. I think one of the whole boys is still out. He's going to be out for the year. That's a tremendous loss to them from one player, and you could see it too in times of when they need to be on top of this. Something that young man had that they'll always benefit. There was always St. George's go-to guy, and it's not there now. So they're struggling. I'm thinking that what I think with St. George's said, get the bonuses. Like I said, you're not going to win the league, that's for sure. But I think do go in the cup runs, know where you are. Again, just steady the ship and rebuilding. Building a program. That's what I think that St. George's is got to be about. Yeah. Building a program for the young players that have been out there now that are playing.
Sure. Well, last night, the defending champions, PHC Zebras, took on the Dendytown Hornets and came away with a 2-1 victory. We talk a lot about what PHC will be missing this season, but they're starting to show some character. They're moved into second place. They're level on points with Paget, but they have a far superior goal difference. but they're not out of that title race yet. They're still looking to defend that title. So, Punchy, a team like PAC, if you look at their league record, played 6, 4 wins, 2 losses, and they're beating a team, Dandytown, who gained some life over the last few weeks, but there's still something going on there. So let's look at PHC and the unit that they have at the disposal this year.
Mm-hmm. Well, again, with PHC is transition in progress with the new coach, coming on board, and remember, they have a lot of young players also. But what they do have the youthfulness is that they have, they play with such energy, and I think they're going to increase that. I think they're going to only get better. I think they will get better. That victory today or last night was important. And it shows that if they can get those, that 2-1 win over Dennytown, they're gonna be okay. I just think they're gonna be up for honors. I don't think they're gonna be in league honors. I don't think where Northwest is headed now. I think none unless Northwest starters, PAC and Cougars will be right there. But I think PAC is still in for the cup games, FA, Friendship. Trust me, they are.
And Coach, we talked about Dandytown and their early season struggles, but they've kind of quietly moved up the standings to on 9 points. Cougars, although Cougars have 3 games in hand on them. But, looking at their season up and down. Now, I did have a talk with one of the coaches of Dandytown, and he explained that they only have 1 defender from last year in the lineup. They still have the same front line. The midfield's a little different. So, and the way that they play, the new players have to adapt to the system, and it's taken a little longer than they anticipated. So, that adjustment in there. What does Aaron need to do to help move that process along a lot faster?
I think with them picking up players, and I think if I look at the list, they picked up probably the most players. It's now getting them to understand their system. As the coach said, they have to learn the system and they have to be willing to play the system. Now, it's difficult when you are trying to teach someone to play in a system and you're losing. For them to think that the system is going to work. So that's the struggle. That is the struggle right there, is that what are you trying to make us do? It don't work. And until they get full buy-in, they're going to have that battle. So this season, and I never count Dannytown out, and I won't count them out this season either. They're a big name club. And they have some quality players over there. So it's just like with PAC. Like that score last night didn't surprise me. As a matter of fact, I am almost 100% sure I picked Dandytown to even win the match. Because I just feel that they're working towards getting it right. However, I never count PAC out, and I usually pick PAC. Maybe it was just I was in my feelings that day when you sent me the picks. But I really think that Dandytown's still going to get it right. Maybe not in the title race. It's still early days, right? But I feel that once they do buy in, because of the youthfulness they have in that team, and how it's structured, I think that for the future, they're going to get back into the position that they're in where, oh gosh, we're playing Dandytown. So right now, it's the building process. It's the teething part. They're teething right now. And once they find that right mix, I think they're going to be fine.
Well, we're going to take our first commercial break. When we come back, we'll talk the Young Men's Social Club Crossroads match 2-2. We'll be right back.
John Barrett & Son is bringing us something fresh and exciting for the new year. Bai Antioxidant Infusion Beverage. Bai delivers the natural antioxidant benefits of the coffee fruit in glorious combination with a variety of exotic fruit flavors, with only 1 gram of sugar and 10 calories per bottle. The folks at Bai are inviting us on a world tour through these amazing flavors. Brasilia blueberry, Zambia Bing cherry, Costa Rica clementine, Malawi mango, Panama peach, Ipanema pomegranate, Kupang strawberry kiwi, and more. Lindo's. Why go anyplace else?
I'm also thankful and grateful because my greatest value of my life is my legacy.
But why I do it? I feel supposed to do it. I was put here to be here, to do what I'm doing right now. Once I see somebody moving, it's the greatest joy for me. There's a little person being born.
I am thankful that people have given me the trust, for me to empower them, from my players to my family to friends, and that's what I'm thankful for. I'm thankful that people have allowed me and trusted me to be in their life.
And welcome back. Well, at the police field, Crossroads picked up their second point of the season, coming from 2-1 down. They were up 1-0 early, and then Young Men Social Club went up 2-1, and then Crossroads were able to pull a goal back. But excuse me, we keep talking about them leaking goals. We know that they are able to score goals, but them leaking goals. They, like I said, they went up early, but just could not get the defensive stuff right for, a whole 45 minutes. They were on a high, and now they find themselves down at the break. Coach, the fact that they're literally leaking goals. They've given up 22 goals and only scored 5. That includes today. Clearly, something on the defensive side.
I watched Crossroads play Hamilton Parish, and they get the ball in the right areas. But it's just no one, they can finish a team off if they do the right things area. So, and I said it to Gumbo at halftime. I said, yo, you haven't taught these guys how you scored goals? I said, you would have a field day with the balls that are coming into the box for your strikers, and then that's not there. And I think that's part of Crossroads' problem. They ran ahead today, but they don't know how to stay on the front foot. They don't know how to stay on the front foot. And defensively, from what I saw defensively, they're leaking goals because players aren't willing to commit to defend it. And I just saw them once. One of Hamilton Parish's goals they scored against them, the defender just took too long to release the ball. He had the options, and he was having a really good game, but he took too long to release the ball, and they picked him off, and they ran it, and they scored. But there's something at Crossroads. Their results week in and week out do not speak to what they possibly could be. I don't know if they're not training enough, so Gumbo doesn't get to see the situations enough with them and help them through the situations, but they were not as bad as I thought they were going to be when I ran and watched that game. And it wasn't until Parish ran up 1-0 that they kind of here we are again. But they played to the end. There's no arguing, no fussing. It was actually an okay match. So I don't know, I expected today for them to kind of go, because that was their last match. I expected for them to kind of get a result from Social Club, but they just didn't do enough to. They got the point, which is, I guess, an improvement. Small victories we celebrate, but it's rare because they play the football to get to score and just don't score. You're talking about a team that held North Village to 2-0, and it was defensive errors from what I saw that caused that. They get into those positions. It's crazy because I know Gumbo is losing his mind.
Yeah, punchy. I mean, if you look at it, a team like Social Club, they picked up some big wins this year. I mean, they beat PHC at Police Field. They got some good results there, but then they come up against a team that's struggling. And I think the way some of the players approached it early, I think they thought they had the game won early in the match, and then find themselves down after 6 minutes, 1-0. And then when you start a game like that, it's kind of difficult to change that mindset, to change how things are going. And then they got two good goals from young Josh Hartman, and then they find themselves on top. But again, they just never really killed the game off. They second half they struggled.
I wonder if they're going to be in the those two teams that I watched today. They're both going to be in the relegation struggle, because you're looking at them, you're looking at Social Club, Crossroads, and Somerset, depending on what Somerset do today, right? But when I watched the game today, it wasn't a very good game. It was one of those rough games. It was one of those, and I'm gonna tell you right now, I think anybody goes up to play on Police Field on a Sunday afternoon, if the weather's like it is, Social Club, it's gonna be a handful for Social Club. But barring that, I think Social Club, I think they're gonna probably not get relegated. I'll put my money on it. If I'm gonna put on, if I was betting on them, I think they're gonna stay up. Just the fact that what I saw today, there's not a whole lot of quality with Social Club. Not really. They have a couple of good players, but they didn't manage the game really well at all. And the game was playing up Police Field. I remember playing up there. It's not a good surface. There's got to be quality on certain parts of that area, because down the middle, when it starts with the weather change, it gets really damp, but on the outside, I thought that, in the context, Social Club were okay, but I think they'll still be in a struggle. I think they're going to get past that benchmark in terms of staying up. I think they are. I think they're going to be all right,
I mean, you said you watched the game, so, dead ball free kicks, both teams struggled. I'm saying, but this is probably why they're in the positions they're in. I mean, free kicks, they couldn't get them across. They couldn't get it past the wall. They couldn't get it past the first defender. I'm saying, man, oh man, if they do like that,
I'm very glad you brought that up, because I found like free kicks, set pieces, the quality of where the ball's going to go, it wasn't there. And I think both teams lacked that today. I'm not going to talk about Crossroads, but I'm talking about Social Club. Like set piece for corner kicks. I can, when people take a set piece, I know when I was playing and what was required of me, where the ball's got to be, who's making the runs, and that's got to be paramount even for Social Club. What did they do on set pieces? But some of the quality of set pieces were very poor today. From Social Club and both teams, really.
Yeah. Well, let's move on to Wellington Oval, where Hamilton Parish picked up another win. I believe they're second of the season. Second of the season. They've played 7, won 2, drawn 1, with 4 losses, 11 goals for, 17 against. But they took on a high-flying Paget team. And when you look at a team like Hamilton Parish, when you're struggling and then you find yourself down, you was up, you find yourself down, and then you come right back and score to level the score. They must have felt like something had to go their way at some point in time in this first half of the season. Coach, when you look at a team like Parish and you say, they've had some hard luck, when is this going to change? When is it going to turn around? I mean, they got it right today.
They did. They win and I lose, but no, it's good though. It again, I hope that this sparks something within them. You know what I mean? This happens. We get excited for a team. We stay impartial. We get excited. Okay, yes, Parish has turned the corner, and then the next week they'll go and do something crazy and lose a game that they should have won. But they, this is 2 wins on the chart form, right? Because they would have played Crossroads and then this game. So what I like about Parish is, remember, before that Crossroads game, they took a 6-1 from PAC.
Yeah.
So that speaks to character, right? That speaks to them now saying, hey, we need to pick it up. We play a team that we should beat, and we beat them. We go and play a team that people probably had us as the underdogs, and we beat them. Next week, game by game. So whatever Sergio instilled in him, because I'm going to put it there, and individual player responsibility, I think is what got him across the line today. Because let's be honest, I mean, a lot of people would have had Paget to win that match based off of current form.
And to be honest, even some Hamilton Parish fans.
No, absolutely, and so I'm happy for Hamilton Parish. I'm glad they did it. Because at the end of the day, we need more competitive football. I was talking like with the men playing last week, and I was saying, we need to get some of our locals. We talked about in the show, get some of our locals involved in the national team setup, because that's going to improve our football. And that's why each week I want teams like Hamilton Parish, okay, this is it. This is what's got to kickstart it. Let's go, don't come back. Have good training this week, guys. Everybody go training this week. Listen to what the coach is trying to do. Try to implement it in training. And let's have a good week. So when we go into the game on Sunday, we're going in fired up. No matter who we play, let's go into this match fired up, ready to rock and roll. And that's what I'm hoping happens. I really do hope that happens, because that's what we need to improve our local football. Matches like today, with a team like Parish, who probably was feeding a little down on their luck.
Yeah. And Punchy, a team like Paget, they would have started the week off in second place on 12 points, 4 wins, 2 losses. They've scored 14, given up 10. But I don't know if it's one of those overconfident things, but they've been on a good run. Their only prior loss was to North Village, but then they go to Wellington Oval, and in a match that they on their season performance, they're expected to win, but don't come away with not even a point. It must be really disappointing for the coaching staff of Paget Lions.
I'm sure it is. I'm sure it is. I think even in Sentinel, who I thought Paget would win the game today. But these are the games that are Paget, if they're going to start building this structure, this institution, what they're talking about, these kind of games that you got to kind of win or draw. How well do they play away from home? Let's give kudos to Hamilton Parish. Yeah, they're only upsurge. Okay. But I would think Paget was second north of it. Just let's say that you want to go down to St. George's and you're going to make sure you come out of there even, at the least. And these are the kind of things I talked about last year. When a team gets running like Paget and they're all, it's like in Bermuda, it's a fanfare. Everybody's like, okay, we're ready for the top teams. But these are the kind of games that you got to show some muscle. You got to show that you're ready to be at that level. And I think that result today showed that Antoine still have a lot of work to do. He's got work to do with that. How well do they play away, like games like Hamilton Parish, or when they come down to North Village, when they had to go up, I think the Way Social Club. I think so. But how well they're going to play against PAC, which is going to be a rivalry, of course. But I just think that, it's a learning curve for Paget again. Will they win the league? I don't think so. No. I think what's going to happen is let's do the same thing what I think for most of these teams that are just going to start rebuilding the programs. FA Cup, anything else is the bonus. But survival is the most important thing. And also building a good structure program. And that's what Paget have to think about.
Yeah. I think they're they have a lot to build on. Obviously today will be a disappointment, but again, congratulations to Hamilton Parish. They're digging their way out. We really went down and out on them at one point in time earlier in the season, but they're digging their way out of that hill. So Yeah, we're going to take our second commercial break. When we come back, we'll talk First Division. Those upsets earlier this week.
I'm also thankful and grateful because my greatest value of my life is my legacy.
But why I do it? I feel supposed to do it. I was put here to be here, to do what I'm doing right now. Once I see somebody moving, it's the greatest joy for me. There's a little person being born.
I am thankful that people have given me the trust, for me to empower them, from my players to my family to friends. And that's what I'm thankful for. I'm thankful that people have allowed me and trusted me to be in their life.
Putting down the weapons.
You seeing this?
Here's one of our favorite feature brands, true veterans of the food awareness movement. Bob's Red Mill, the U.S. leading miller of organic whole grain foods. Only whole grains have the entire value developed during growth. And once you try them, you know that this is the way food was intended to be. Try Bob's Red Mill blanched almond, whole wheat pastry, and artisan bread flours, and 1-to-1 gluten-free baking flour, unsweetened shredded coconut, gluten-free homemade wonderful bread mix, and a variety of rolled oats. Lindo's. Why go anyplace else?
And welcome back. Well, on Wednesday night, Somerset Eagles went to VA Field to take on Robin Hood, who had been flying high. They were second in the division to Devonshire Colts. And Somerset Eagles came away with a 2-1 victory. Here's another game where I honestly believe that Robin Hood would have underestimated their opponents, and Jomar put tactics on them that once that rot set in, they just couldn't get themselves out. You're shaking your head, Coach. But now I think, because let's talk a little bit about Somerset Eagles, because now with Jomar there and a bit of structure, and picking up a big win like they did, do you think now that they have some belief that they can match some of these teams in the first division?
I think so. I think that, well, again, what we talk about structure, what Jomar brings to it, what Jomar brings to what he brings to any team that he goes to, structure. His first couple of weeks up there weren't doing well. There was some good results, but to go and beat Robin Hood away from home, right? That's a good result. So they're gonna build on that. They will build on that. I haven't seen Somerset Eagles play this year, but I'm sure that with that result, Jomar's going to add to that. I see. You're looking at home away. I think with Somerset Eagles, if Jomar can make sure that every game they play up there at White Hill, there's either a win or a draw, not a loss. I think if he can kind of institute that belief in the team, what it means and I think he's going to be cautious also in terms of not too early, even if you stay another year, because you come up with what would happen is that you get promoted and all of a sudden it falls apart because you're not. How many players are going to go up to Somerset Eagles? And so I just think that Jomar it's going to be on the right path, but it's take a couple of years for what he wants to achieve up there.
And Coach, we talked about all the transfers that went to Robin Hood in the off season, and they got a good start to the season. But when things are not going right for you, the newcomers, it's sort of like a hard blend. Don't you think sometimes?
Yeah, not only that, but also you spoke on it about the complacency. But to get into the game, I called it already won, right? Um, and it's something I try to stay away from with my players. So, is when the people say you need to watch your opponents, you need to scout them, you need to play football how you play football, and your opponents play football how they play football, and in the math you tactically fix what you need to fix, because you'll have a sense of I won this game already. Patrick may have had that same feeling going to St. George's today, but Robin Hood definitely would have been if Somerset Eagles. You know what I mean? They look through the schedule and be like, yeah, this is the game to win, this is the game, we got this, we got this. But the game's won on the field. If the game was won on paper, a lot of results wouldn't be what they are. So the game's won on the field, and Robin Hood would have had to take the game to Somerset Eagles. But again, as Uncle said, kudos to Jamal. Um, he's getting some results. Somerset Eagles was written off completely, and he's getting results. So he's gonna have injected some life into these players. These guys are gonna look to go to training this week. They're gonna look to play. They can't wait to play the next game because they won, right? And so whatever he's doing there, and we know that Jamal has a tendency to do that. But I agree with Uncle that there's no way that they should look to be promoted. That they should look to just maintain and try to build more, because they're not ready for the big league yet. But very good. But Robin Hood will again. I think this is probably the second game this season that they would have rude an opportunity to really put pressure on the top of the table. So they would need to look at those two matches and figure out what went wrong. Was it complacency? Was it overconfidence? So that's my take on it.
Sure. And then the next night, Wolves defeated Vasco 4-0. We talked about Wolves getting a slow start to the season. We talked about Vasco having a decent start to the season. Now it seems like the wheels have come off Vasco's season. Coach, if you look at they've got 3 wins, and I think they won their first 3 games, but they haven't won since. They scored 12 goals, but they've given up 25 goals. They gave up they had that big loss to Devonshire Colts. Now they lose 4-0 to Vasco. They like we talked about Crossroads, got to figure a way to stop leaking goals.
And Coach Leo is the head coach, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I've seen him. He's spreading himself a little thin. He is head coach for the men. I see him coaching some of the younger teams. They do have parents and they do have coaches there. But is he really able to devote the time that he needs to devote to that senior team? What were you doing in the beginning of the season before youth football started? You know what I mean? Let's look at that. Before youth football started, basketball was doing really well. So are you spending time with that senior team or no? Because you wear a couple of different hats. You have your own academy. Are you still devoting the amount of time needed to be successful? Not surprised at the result. Maybe surprised a bit about at the score, but not the result. Even though they took a big hammering from Devonshire Colts the other week. But I think that there's something that has stopped happening, or is happening a lot less at Vasco right now, and that's why they're not able to get the results. They're not even scoring good. They didn't score against Colts, right? They've taken 12 goals and they conceded 12 and scored 0. Yeah, you're muted, but yeah, that's not a good look. Yeah, something has to happen.
Yeah,
because that performance would be at a full time.
Yeah, definitely. Country, when we look at a team like Wolves, you say you speak to Tori a lot. You say they have a large group of guys training, but not all the time do the results go their way, and especially at the start of the season where they really, really struggle. But now they find themselves in 3rd place with 11 points, 3 wins, 2 draws, and a loss, 13 goals for, 6 against. Do they get stronger, or do they become the Earl Wolves?
And they're the old wolves. They're the old wolves. I'm trying to encourage my nephew. I'm sorry, Patches, to take over that job. I would love for him to take over. Dan the coach right there. It's just right close to that. Take and run that. I'll tell you, the problem that they have, and the problem that we were talking about. Remember, I got a sore spot for Wolves. Well, but there's just a lack of structure there in terms of where they are talent. You got to be the coach talent and organized talent. And Wolves have an abundance of talent there, but it's no organization. Now, I'm gonna speak the truth here. What Wood needs to do is bring in someone else. How Tori does his best. I know I have some conversation with him, but they're not gonna get over the hump. They won't. Now Wolves will be that's the same thing. Shield competitions and FA, but in terms of every week being structurally sound, they ain't there yet. They ain't there. So you have 20 guys that are not being really organized well. They're not structured well. And so that's what you see. And when it comes down to the meaningful games that matter for them for promotion, it's not going to work. And so I just feel, that Wolves are not making the right decision on what they're doing, the coaching.
Right.
Who's running that team, what they need to do. And I'm being honest. As simple as that. I'm not saying that I'm not pointing fingers at people, but it's the truth. You can't have an abundance of talent like that and don't have the results that's with their talent. And it's not happening with Wolves.
Yeah. Well, let's look at today's game. I mean, St. David's went to Police Field to face Devonshire Coast, the league leaders who were undefeated, and they were beaten 6-2. Two girls. They got two girls from, ready for the name, Keishan Bean. Coach. Yes, Keishan Bean played for St. David's today.
Keishan Bean played for St. David's. I'm dead.
Yeah. I asked him if he lost a bet. But Devonshire Coast have been scoring. They've got 31 girls this year. They haven't lost a match yet this season. But looking at St. David's ended up showing up, Punchy, with I believe 13 players. They were nowhere near halfway through this first half of this. We're almost through to the halfway point of the first half of the season, and they're struggling for players. I mean, they started off winning. They shocked us the first couple of games, but since which they've like everything has turned around.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
You had a stint at coaching at St. David, so you saw it happen.
I see what's happening. Once I come down and analyze it, that even my stint there in my time there's only so far they can go because they're not, junior programs. The junior program there is, I think they have Mr. Fogo down there, Mr. Lugo. I'm sorry. Mr. Lugo. Yeah, right. So what I'm saying to you, that's where they at. Let's look at that and just really, they are good. They are going to compete in that league, and they're going to be where they are. They're happy. They have the youngsters coming. But in terms of projection for football, it ain't happening with St. David's. It's not going to happen. I think they're going to remain there. They're going to be competitive in that league. They come out Sundays, and that's where they're going to go. I mean, I'm being honest. I think that's where they're going to be. Because even if they are promoted, how are they going to draw a good players to go play for St. David's? That was my dilemma. That was my dilemma, and it still exists today. Right. I think they've come to the realization that they're going to be in the league for the rest. That's where it's going to be with St. David's. That's my honest feeling about that.
Sure. Coach, you're scratching your head. I don't want you to talk about St. David's.
Please don't help me here.
Let's talk a little about Devonshire Coast. I mean, they're having a similar season to North Village in the Premier Division. They look unbeatable in the First Division right now. They were up 4-0 at halftime, and then I think some complacency set in. Players, not following the script that was, I guess, put together, or the plan that was put together in the second half. to only score twice. And some of the, I mean, I saw probably the last 25 minutes of the game, and they struggled to put passes together when it mattered in the final third, but they got the job done.
But they started hard and they started fast, and that's fine, right? I mean, we can look and say, "Oh, 4-0 at halftime." Oh, second half go hard again. Why? If the game is pretty much won, coach would have been able to see, as you said, they weren't stringing passes together. Coach would be able to determine whether that's fatigue or lack of quality, depending on if he made subs or not. But Devin Coach is enjoying football right now. When you're enjoying football, it's so easy. When you're getting results so that you can enjoy football, it's so much fun. So right now, that's what's happening. I can guarantee they're not got issues with training. Guys are messing up. It's not what we've seen in the past from Colts. I can guarantee. And I know Ray's hard on his team, and he's definitely probably enjoying this coaching moment. Because the things that he was probably been trying to put in place with other players, he now has the quality. He had players that returned to the Colts that had left because for whatever reasons. And so now they're playing like a family. Now they're just enjoying their football. And I've got to make a point to get out and watch both them and finish at some point before 2023 is over. Sunday is my right now with this campaign. Sunday is my off day, and I try to do what I have to do and get some rest if I can. But I do want to get out there and see some games, and I'm excited to see what Daventry Colts is doing, because Daventry Colts again is a big name club. It's Daventry Colts. You know what I mean? You should not be playing in nobody's first division. You should be in the Premier Division, enjoying it just like you are now. And I hope that when they get back there next season, that they continue in this vein. Again, I am so much to just have local football improve and be competitive and see quality football out there. So, yeah, good job to Ray and staff and to those players. They have some young guys in that team, and they need to be looked at too. Internationally as well. Is how I see it. Even though they're in the first division, because technically and tactically they know what they need to do. 31 goals at this stage in the season. That is absolutely amazing. That is capitalizing on your opportunities. And that's a coach's dream.
Yeah, definitely. Then the final match of the weekend in the first division, Boulevard Blazers beat Southampton Rangers 5-1. Boulevard has resurged. They're on a roll. What do you say about a team like Boulevard? Because last season they had a Joma. Things were out to Scouter. They got relegated. Players were not happy with coaching decisions and the format that they were playing. And now they got back the guy that was at the helm before they got Joma, and things look like they're returning to normal. Even some of the players like Ian Cook is back playing.
Yeah, well, that is that's amazing for me. They also have picked up Darius Cox, and so with his experience and leadership at the back, Boulevard is going to be a team to watch. And you know what? They're saying you never miss what you got until it's gone. So when that coach left and they got Joma, and we know what happened, they lost that brotherhood family vibe. Joma brought players in, he was playing his players. As much as you all males want to think that you don't have emotions and you don't get in your feelings about stuff. Yes, you do. And I am sure that played a role. Now you got guys over at Boulevard that we went Victor Scott together, or Prospect together, or Delwood together. You know what I mean? I know you. And so at the end of the day, I think that's what has injected that spirit at Boulevard. And when you have a player like Darius that, from what I heard today, that's where he started, coming back to give that team a different look, to show the youngsters that, listen, you can be doing this instead of doing that, because in all honesty, we know what the community, what it is judged as, and what Boulevard team will be judged as when you have a person that's come back into your team like that. Um, this is a guy that has a camp that helps a lot of young boys. He's now a part of that team. I can't wait to see what's next. Who else decides that they want to go back home and help Boulevard? And
Well,
I'm hoping that this will start
another
something
name that
great.
used to stand out. Another name that used to stand out. Idleman Mallory playing with him.
Wow, absolutely beautiful. So you see where we're going with this. These hardworking fathers, men, that's going there and now joining the face of the Boulevard team / community. And I actually applaud them for that. I do applaud them for doing that because it takes a lot, because they would know that they are walking into a team that's kind of unsettled a bit but trying. So they will respect those players for actually, working hard thus far. But now imagine a coach picking up Arjun Mallory and Darius Cox. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
No pressure on them, no target on their back, really. Now they could just go out there and get the job done. I think it's a beautiful thing.
Sure. And Conchi, for Keith up at Southampton, I mean, they bounced back. They started having some really, really good results, but this is kind of a setback for them. I mean, losing is one thing, but when you lose 5-1, it kind of brings you right back down to earth. So what do you think Keith's going to have to do this week to kind of, settle that team down?
Look, let's be honest about Southampton Rangers in itself. Look, I've heard through the grapevine that it's got some objection of some other players going to be coming on board with Southampton Rangers, But they really, I mean, Keith's going up there. He's got this belief that that's a work in progress right there, Rangers, there's not a whole lot of quality up there at all. And so let's be realistic. To lose that amount to Boulevard, who have a lot of players, enthusiastic, but they're not really, Rangers are going to be, like I said, a work in progress. It's going to take time for Keith Jennings to do what he wants to do at Rangers. Plus, he has to get quality players up there if he's going to start talking about promotion, and he has to do that. And I don't know if the people who's going to go up there play for Southampton Rangers. You always think about who you're going to get. But what you have, who you're going to get to want to come up the plate. And there's a diminishing amount of quality, talented players that are going to leave, go close. Years ago, let's go back years ago. Kenny Brett used to go from PHC to Southampton Rangers. Am I correct? All right, yeah. That ain't happening right now. And no PHC players are going to go play up Southampton Rangers right now. It ain't going to happen. So Keith's got it ain't going to happen. So what I'm saying to you, Keith's got a real dilemma. How does he attract good players, or is he going to be good top players to play at Southampton Rangers? How's he going to get players up there? Or let's say if he takes his son or he takes some other players, okay, all right. But that ain't going what he needs. So the problem that Keith Jennings is going to have is coaching staff, what they're going to do. Let's say, for instance, okay, come to the realization that that's where we're at. Let's say that we're going to be competitive, and we are in a restructuring process now at Southampton Rangers. And that's what he's got to deal with, because they are not that good. Trust me. No, they're not. No, they're not.
That process has to have a goal. Like, what is Keith? Exactly. Are you there for 1, 2, or 3 years? And now you're competing with Patrick. So even those guys at PAC that ain't got a lot of games on it, you're gonna have to shop at Patrick, because they're gonna go from PAC to Patrick first before they go to Southampton Rangers. So again, and then you speak about personalities, right? Keith's personality is Keith's personality. And are you able to soften, to build relationships with those players to get them to trust you? As great of a player as you were, some of those boys you're coaching now probably not even saw you play, unless you play with them in training. Do you understand what I mean? So building the trust, building the relationship, understanding, as you said, it's a process. It's a work in progress. We can't expect immediate results. And this is why I speak to you about the anytime. I can almost guarantee that Aaron Jenkins understands where his team is right now this season, but knows where he wants his team to go. He's not pressing the panic button. He went out and strategically got players that he knew, he wanted to play in a system he wants to implement at any time, not just for the 2023-2024 season. And once coaches understand that process, it's better. A, you keep your players. B, you get buy-in from your players. And you have to make sure the objectives are set. What were your objectives going to Southampton Rangers, Keith? What were your objectives? Were your objectives to, let's look at finishing in the top 4, the top 3. Let's look at not conceding too many goals. And some of the objectives you're going to reach and some you're not. It's okay. But you have to have these things in place. You have to have a goal. And you have to have a timeline, right? You have to have it. It has to be measurable, right? You can't just say, because at the end of 2024, what did you achieve? You may not have finished in the top 4. You may not have conceded the little goals. You may have conceded more goals than you had anticipated. But what have you done in 2023, 2024 that's going to help you in 2024, 2025? You can't think you're going to go into a team like the Southampton Rangers that was smashed all last season. I think that all of a sudden is going to turn around. Patrick may have had that understanding too, and they had some good results in the beginning. Has this now been a reality check? Oh, hang on a second. You need a cricketer to score your goals. You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, it's just about having realistic goals.
Earl and Cheetah, I want to bring something else too. Let's have a discussion about something else too. If all the coaches that I've seen, right? Let's go through some of the teams there. Let's say for Norfolk, right? There's Kenny, then there's Devray, there's Jamiko, then there's also Raheem. That support system they run to. There's 4 people that you can run to, the coach can run to. So I'm sure Kenny has this conversation with these guys, right? The coaching staff, which is most important. What I find out, even at Paget, I'm looking at who's Mr. Antoine's Russell. He got his ear. Somebody is going to say, hey, listen, we're going to tweak this. I find that a lot in Bermuda, when the coaches, the coaching assistant coaching staff, it's not there. I think it's not enough of it that has quality to help that coach. Now at St. George's,
he has Don Vickers on the bench with him.
I'm sorry, saying
he has Don Vickers on the bench with him.
Yeah, well, yeah, but it's not working, is it? It's not working, is it? So I'm not working, but there's still some transition there. What I'm saying to you, let's say coach, the national coach, coach of the national team, you gotta have somebody that has you know, look how the major teams in top world football, how they run. And we're gonna take a page out of the book. So you gotta have somebody who could say, listen, what do we treat this, sir? A lot of these teams don't have that. So St. George's, I still think I'm just trying to get this point across. You have to have people in place that help you. That could say, listen, I got your I think we need to tweak this. I don't think a lot of teams in have that right now. And I don't think Social have it. I don't think Wolves have it. I think there's so much I'm just not in place. I think Norfolk is an example of how what's got to be done, and I think it's shown in terms of what it's productivity. It's showing what the results are.
And Antoine's just got to do what I do and listen to Don Vickers as my assistant.
But he needs to call you up, because call you up.
Exactly working for me.
No, but I'm saying in making this case, right? Like Wolves, which, like I said to you, you know, I want my nephew to take that job. But anyway, we'll see about that. But I'm saying to you, that's what I figured. When I was coaching, I was somebody. My good friend David Squares was like, hey, tap me on my shoulder. Listen, that's not working out. We got to do something else. And so I find a lot of teams are not like that. What does Antoine have, who has his back, and say, listen, Antoine, we're going to tweak this? Who does Keith Jennings have? Who does the Wolves? Who did he have? And so I'm finding, like today, Gumbo, one of that was crosswords. You know, you got to have the systems in place. That people can help you. And that's one of the lack of that. And I'm trying to put my finger on this
But
problem. How do we get better at that?
it's twofold, dude. Right? It's twofold. So that's a very valid point. And sorry, Aaron, because we're kind of going off on the tangent, but it's a very valid point. And I'll give you a real example. When we played against Barbados the other day, and we went down to 10 men, if I can honestly say, like, as the head coach, if Maurice didn't tell me that we needed to change the midfield shape, I probably wouldn't have. And it wasn't because I don't know, I don't think that it was just something I didn't see at the time. So we have to, as coaches, get rid of our ego, listen to what someone has to say, and implement it because they see it differently. Same game, Kyle Lightborn sent a message to me. Like, it's Kyle Lightborn. Who am I to not listen to what? He sent me a tactical message during the match, and it's okay. So I got the tactical message and made the adjustment, and it made the team better. So we have to know, when I say it's twofold, not only having that person, but being willing to listen to what that person has to say and be brave enough to implement it. It may or may not work, but if you don't try it, you don't know that. And I can tell you that those two suggestions brought us to 4-2 over Barbados. See, as coaches, we have to remember it's not about us, it's about the players. What's best for them? What is best for them? We have to be willing to remove egos out of our teams and be willing to listen to somebody who has a different point of view. So that's why I say to you, I may be telling Antoine A, B, and C, and I'm not saying I'm not there. I'm not saying Antoine's not doing it, but I can tell you categorically that when Don Vicker stands up next to me on the sideline and says, Coach, A, B, C, I listen to A, B, and C. I may only see A and B, and I may only do A and B, but having that voice to help you see something I love it. And by the way, I'm taking both him and Maurice to Dominican Republic. So look, I'm the happiest right now. I'm so happy, Earl.
So, Tito, Coach, are you saying my point that I'm making is that it's not enough of that happening? And that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying, Earl. And
I'm agreeing with you that that's what needs to happen. But I'm still also saying,
you got to do this.
A coach can have 4 assistant coaches, but if you're not going to listen to them, it serves no purpose.
Right.
That's my point. I agree with what you're saying, but if you're not going to listen to your assistant coaches, what happened?
Well, we're going to take our final commercial break, and when we come back, we're going to go to Keita's favorite part of the show, where we look at our picks. We'll be right back.
It seems everyone knows someone who's lactose intolerant or just avoiding dairy products. And fortunately, there's a growing array of delicious and nutritious alternatives. Pacific Natural Foods have been doing things their own way simply and sustainably for over a quarter century, making non-dairy beverages with the finest possible ingredients right down to the packaging. Try Pacific Natural Original and Vanilla Hemp Milk and Almond Original Plant-Based Beverage, all sweetened or unsweetened, and low-sodium organic vegetable or chicken broth. Lindo's, why go anyplace else?
I'm also thankful and grateful because my greatest value of my life is my legacy.
But why I do it? I feel supposed to do it. I was put here to be here, to do what I'm doing right now. Once I see somebody moving, it's the greatest joy for me. There's a little person being born.
I am thankful that people have given me the trust, for me to empower them, from my players to my family to friends, and that's what I'm thankful for.
Putting down the weapons.
And welcome back. Well, we'll go through our picks. Trying to get an update from the Devonshire Recreation Club. I'm just waiting for that to come through. But as we picked the North Village St. George's game, we all took North Village, and we would have all gotten a point there. The PHC Dendytown match, we all took PHC except Coach Keita, who decided to take Dendytown, and we know PHC won that 2-1. And then in the match, Crossroads and Social Club, we all took Social Club. So we would have all gotten that wrong there. As we know, that match ended in a 2-2 draw. And of course, the Hamilton Parish Paget Lions match, we all took Paget, and Hamilton Parish won that match there. So in the Premier Division, we all ended up with 2 points. In the First Division, Robin Hood went down 2-1 to Eagles. We all took Robin Hood. Vasco and Wolves, we all took Wolves. Wolves won that 4-0. Devonshire Colts and St. David's, we all took Devonshire Colts. And the Boulevard Southampton Rangers game, Punchy and Coach Keita both took Boulevard. I took Rangers. So it finished with myself 4, Punchy 5, and Coach Keita 4. So Coach Keita moves on to 36. I move on to 36, and Punchy is on 36. Everyone has 36, with us all taking Devonshire Cougars in the next match. So, in tonight's match. So, let's take a look at next week, and we'll start with you, Coach Keita. This should be an easy one. I'm sorry, an easy pick. Saturday evening up at the Somerset Cricket Club. It is Somerset taking on North Village Rams.
Okay. North Village.
I'm going to go with North Village as well. Punchy?
I'm going to North Village on that. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. I'll go next. St. George's take on Paget at the same field. Paget just lost 3-2 to Hamilton Parish. I honestly believe they'll start getting it right, and they have to start with Paget. Although I feel Paget would want to come back to Wellington Oval and redeem themselves, I just think St. George's have to get something out of this match. So I'm going to take St. George's in this game. Punchy?
I'm taking St. George's for that. I'm on you with that. I think even though St. George's lost, they put up a good, was a good showing against them. But I think that lost yesterday. I think that's going to happen. And I'm playing away from them. I'm picking St. George's for this.
Okay. Coach?
I don't know if I'm picking St. George's. I think they're going to win, or just in case. I don't want to pick Paget, and then I'm the only one. So I'm going to keep it close, right? So I'm just going to go with St. George's. Rather than being on the news. Pick what you guys do.
All right, Punchy, you're up. The Crossroads host PHC down at Lord's.
Lord.
Oh wow. That's easy for me right now in terms of what I saw with Crossroads today. That's the PHC to win that game for sure.
Coach?
What I know, PHC is not going to be under the confident and say this game's won. They're going to put on a stinger. Anyway, I would put Crossroads in this one is if I could bet, and it was a big horse. There's no way Crossroads is going to beat PHC next week unless the best they'll get is a draw because all 11 players stay on the goal line. Then I still think it's impossible.
All right, so you're taking PHC and I'm taking PHC. Okay, then it's Coach Keita, you're up. Social Club will entertain Hamilton Parish at Police Field.
Hamilton Parish.
I just think Parish will be riding high from the last 2 games. and I think I'm going to pick them to win this one at Police Field as well. Punchy?
No. I'm going against you all. I'm going to take Social Club for that.
Okay.
I'm going to Social Club to beat that game.
Okay. The last game will be taking place on the Monday, and that'll be Dandytown versus Devonshire Cougars. I'm going to actually go with Cougars on this because they've been riding hard. Even if they don't have a good game tonight, I think Cougars right now are on a mission and are doing very well. And I think that form will continue next week Monday. Punchy?
I'm with you. Cougars going to win this game, but Dandytown is just not in the right space right now. So I'm going with Cougars to win this game.
Coach?
Nope. I'm going with Danny. Actually, no, I'm going Dandytown. I'm going to give Dandytown. I can go for draw, but I'm going to give Dandytown.
Okay. Then we go to the first division on Saturday. It is so we got an update from Devonshire Recreation Club. At this present time, Somerset Trojans are leading 1-0.
You guys want to change now? You guys want to change? You guys want to change?
No. Still a lot of football to be played. So,
They say
I'm sorry. Punchy. Island Rangers on Saturday will take on Wolves.
What's the game being played at?
Up at Somerset Cricket Club.
On Saturday night?
7 o'clock, yeah.
I'm going to Wolves on the oil bill. Wolves going to beat that game. Yeah.
Okay. Coach?
They're going to be playing in my backyard. Wolves is going to beat them. Don't matter where they play. Wolves is going to beat them. They're going to play at Island Rangers field. We're going to spank them.
I'm going to take Wolves as well. Okay. Also Saturday night, Vasco entertains Southampton Rangers. Coach?
Wow. And I knew it was me. Wow. Wow. I think I'm gonna have to go for draw. I can't pick on this one. I'm gonna go for draw.
I honestly believe Keith will rally his troops, and with Vasco beating School, I think Rangers will pull this one out and come away for win.
It's Rangers or draw for me, but I'm gonna go for draw.
Okay.
No, I'm going for win for Rangers. I think Rangers, yeah. They'll take that picture with Vasco.
Yeah. Now, on Sunday at Police Field, Devonshire Coast face the Boulevard Blazers. On present form, I honestly think this will be a high-scoring match, but I think Devonshire Coast will edge this game 3-2. Punchy?
I'm going to go with you all. Not going to be a draw. Typical Bermuda football is going to be a win for Devonshire Coast.
Okay. Coach?
Yeah, Colts is too much right now for probably all the teams in that league.
Okay.
Colts, that's right.
All right. And then Punchy, your first up for the last pick, St. David's host Somerset Eagles.
Somerset Eagles going on to beat St. David's. Somerset Eagles going on to beat St. David's. It's I don't have to go too much explanation about that. Joe must not go down there and lose to St. David's. Exactly. So Somerset Eagles to win that game.
Okay, Coach.
Yeah. Let me check. Make sure.
Give hard, or you give hard, or you give host.
He sleeps, so I'm. I don't think somebody really cares.
Right.
No, I think after the win today over Robin Hood, I think Eagles will look to do the same types of things. And Davis right now don't have what it takes, quality wise. So yeah, Somerset Eagles.
Okay, and I'm going to take Somerset Eagles as well. So there you have it for the next week. We do want to say that Friday evening we will be doing a pregame and a postgame show with the women's national football team on tap to play at the Philadelphia Southfield Stadium at the National Sports Center. Game time is 7:30 Friday. Come out, support these ladies. We have the women's national coach with us, and you heard she's got a team around her that's going to hopefully help her guide these girls, guide these ladies to the next round of the Women's CONCACAF World Cup. And we want to say to you, Coach, because you're going to be sitting in a different chair come Friday night. Good luck. You've got a time to spend with the ladies this week, and hopefully everything goes to plan. Take care of business first Friday, and then let Tuesday play itself out. But Friday's first, and that's what we have to concentrate on. So, Punchy, we'll see you Friday at 5:30. We'll go live, and we'll get out to see what Coach Keita has been able to pull out of the old strings to pull off the victory against St. Vincent right at the stadium. So, again, Coach, good luck.
Thank you.
Party word?
Yeah, but yeah, just come and support us. You will be entertained and excited. Girls are in an amazing space, and we're just looking to fill the stand and be as loud as you possibly can. And so we carry that into our final match as we look to make history.
All right. Well, folks, there you have it. We'll be back again. First, we'll be on air on Friday at 5:30 for the pregame show, and then again after the match for a postgame show where we hear from coaches and players from both teams on the outcome of the match. Okay. Enjoy your night.
On my phone.